Hello and welcome to VOA's Red Carpet. I'm Jackson Bunganyi. This week on the Red Carpet, we chat with the creators of Kunda Kids, a TV series that caters to African kids born in the diaspora. The Paris Olympics have just ended, but some die-hard fans are already planning for the 2028 Summer Games in Los Angeles, California. We follow the story of Vivian Robinson, an Olympic superfan. A program in Harlem led by a local who nearly missed their opportunity in the fashion industry is harnessing community talent to address the lack of progress in promoting minorities within the New York City's global fashion industry. We got those stories, plus for the 50 years, two American semifinalists appeared in both the men's and women's tournaments at the US Open, including Sierra Leonean American Frances Tiafoe. Let's get on with the show. This year's 25th edition of the Woodst Tower Music Festival in Miribel, France, was an unforgettable 4-day celebration of rap and electro music. The festival was headlined by some of the biggest names in French-speaking rap, including Senegalese-born rapper Cyprien Noir, known for his rise from the underground scene in 2008 to becoming the first French rapper to represent luxury brand Yves Saint Laurent. African children born in the diaspora often face challenges in connecting with their culture and traditions. The creators of the popular YouTube series Kunda and Friends are addressing this by producing engaging children's content designed to help young Africans abroad reconnect with their heritage. Louisa Kiwana Olufai tells me that the series offers stories and lessons about African culture, providing much-needed representation and fostering cultural pride among diaspora youth. Let's check it out.
We're going to talk about the beautiful continent of Africa and all the countries that make up our lovely home.
So Kunda and Friends is a project that we created at Kunda Kids, which is a company that my husband and I, who's also my co-founder, created. So as new parents in 2020, we had our son, and being mixed heritage Nigerian and Ugandan, we really wanted to be able to find content for him that celebrated his heritage, that was educational, that was uplifting. But unfortunately, a lot of that really wasn't available, and we didn't see it and struggled to find it. So when we would be watching YouTube shows, when we would be trying to find books and resources for our son, we were like, not only where are the Black people, where is the representation of African heritage, and how is my son supposed to see himself through the content that he watches?
With that in mind, Louisa and her husband decided that the best course forward was to develop a TV show that catered to the educational needs of their child, but with the idea of expanding it for the benefit of the millions of African kids born in the diaspora.
From Ghana to Namibia, from Zimbabwe to Cote d'Ivoire.
I think quite often Africa is represented, especially to children, as some homogenous thing that's the same. It's just safaris and animals. And I do a lot of work and engagement work in schools with educators and children. And I still get asked sometimes by children, do people wear shoes in Africa? Do they sleep with lions? Do we sleep in huts? And there is not an awareness that, there's so much technological innovation coming out of Africa, that Africa is a continent is so influential to the development even that we see in the West. So we really wanted to rewrite that for the next generation of global citizens. When we see children running around, I think we don't realize that they're going to be the decision makers for us in our old age. And in order for them to be well informed and to be confident and make the right decisions, then we have to give them the right information.
And the right resources. So why did you choose to focus, let's say, I guess, on African history and culture in a preschool series? And how do you ensure that these themes resonate with these young audiences?
Well, children's media is their window to the world. So it is how they learn about other people and places that are beyond their immediate sort of circle of influence. So it's how they learn about different countries, different people, different foods, different cultures. Media is a window. Television, books, radio is a window to the world. And if they are lacking in information about anywhere, whether it's Africa, whether it's the Americas, whether it's Europe, they will not have a complete story of the world that they live in.
For the first time in over 20 years, there were two American semifinalists in both men's and women's tournaments at the US Open. One of them was Frances Tiafoe, an alumnus of the Junior Tennis Champions Center in College Park, Maryland. VOA Russian visited the center where Tiafoe still trains between tennis tournaments. Rafael Sakov and Karina Bafradazian have the story narrated by Anne Rice.
Here on the courts of the Junior Tennis Champions Center in College Park, Maryland, or JTCC, then 4-year-old Frances Tiafoe learned how to play tennis. The son of immigrants from Sierra Leone, Tiafoe and his twin brother Franklin spent hours practicing here multiple days a week. Their father, who helped build the center, later got a job as a janitor. For more than a decade, the Tiafoe family slept in one of the offices, recalls one of Tiafoe's coaches and senior director of player development at JTCC, Alisama Agnamba.
When I first got here 20-something years ago, and during that time, Francis' dad obviously works here, and Francis automatically started playing tennis here as a young kid, and he fell in love with the sport since then.
Tiafoe has come a long way, and Friday's place at the US Open semifinals was his second in New York and at Grand Slam tournaments in general. He's only the fourth American tennis player since 2000 who has managed to do that, after Andre Agassi, Pete Sampras, and Andy Roddick. 2 years ago, when Tiafoe defeated Spain's Rafael Nadal, he became the first black man to advance to a US Open semifinal since Arthur Ashe in 1972. Tiafoe did it on the main court, bearing Ashe's name.
It was pretty much like always apparent that he was a huge talent. While I was here, I would hear so many accolades from the other coaches that worked with him.
While in women's tournaments, sisters Serena and Venus Williams have long set the winning tone, there have been fewer such talented players among African American men. Even now, despite world fame and being one of the main characters of Netflix's docu-series about tennis players called Breakpoint, Tiafoe, currently ranked 20th in the world, doesn't forget the place where it all began.
This is Francis' home. He's always here. Whenever he's here in Maryland, this is where he spent time. He loves coming here, playing with some of our top juniors here, and they just sign an autograph for the young.
Junior players say it's amazing to hang out with the famous JTCC alum.
He's like a really good inspiration to like everybody in the academy, because like when he comes, everybody comes to see him train. He's always like very positive. Everybody says hi to everybody.
Everyone knows he has so much fun on the court, and it's so exciting to watch him play all the time. And he's a great guy in general.
Inspiring the next generation while adding to his own legacy, Tiafoe is still pursuing his dreams. For Rafael Sakyan and Karina Bafradazian in College Park, Maryland, Anna Rice, VOA News.
New York City is one of the fashion capitals of the world, but the industry has made fewer strides in advancing and promoting minorities. In the uptown neighborhood of Harlem, a program is tapping into community talent led by a local who almost missed out on the industry entirely. Tina Tree reports.
When I sit at the sewing machine, or if I'm at the table working on something, I'm in my sanctuary. I've grown to really, really love what I do. I don't like it, I love it.
Henry Smith is a master tailor and sewing instructor in New York City. As a young man growing up in Harlem, it's work he never imagined for himself.
I was in church one Sunday morning and this lady came up to me and she asked me if I wanted to learn how to sew. I was like, no, I don't want to learn how to sew because sewing is for girls.
The offer came at a time when life at home had become difficult. His father had remarried after his mother's death, and Smith's relationship with him and his stepmother had grown estranged.
I was angry, very, very angry, so much to the point that I had made it up in my mind that I needed both of them to feel the hurt that I was feeling. And this was on a Friday that I came up with this idea that when I left the house Monday morning to go to school, that I was going to commit a very heinous act.
But that Sunday at church, when a congregant saw a different future for Smith, she offered to pay for a local tailoring program.
She said, baby, she said, I looked into your eyes from across the church. She said, and I saw something in your eyes that said if somebody didn't intervene in your life, you was gonna make a mistake that was gonna cost you your life itself. And she wasn't lying.
Smith studied at the Manhattanville Needle Trade School, opened by Marian Anderson, the first African-American licensed to teach tailoring in New York City.
He was everything that I needed. You know, he was the counselor, he was my father, he was my mentor, he was my friend. And with that relationship, it changed my mindset as to what I was going to do the very next day.
Smith now has his own custom tailoring business in Harlem, a predominantly African-American neighborhood in New York. He's also teaching the next generation of seamsters at So Harlem, a business incubator for local creatives and entrepreneurs. It's a vital addition to New York's fashion scene, known the world over for its influence, but notably lacking in its diversity. One of the main causes is a lack of mentors and sponsorships for minorities, but not in this corner of the city. For Smith, giving back is personal.
I embrace people based on my past, based on how I got to be where I am, because you never know what someone comes into this atmosphere with.
Giving others an opportunity that can make all the difference, much like the one given to him over 30 years ago. For this accomplished tailor, it's a life dedicated to helping others fashion theirs.
The Paris Olympics have just ended, but some die-hard fans are already planning for the 2028 Summer Games in Los Angeles, California. Vivian Robinson is one of them. The self-described Olympic superfan has been following the Games flame all over the world. Angelina Bagdasarian has the story, narrated by Anne Rice.
An Olympic superfan, California native Vivian Robinson gets recognized by people visiting her state from all over the world. Jade, visiting from France, is an admirer.
I saw her in TikTok and I saw the video and it's cool, and I saw her, I want to take a picture with her.
She calls herself the Olympics' biggest fan and dresses the part. The Paris Olympics were her 7th Games, and she made headlines while visiting.
Ones that I've been to is Australia, Athens, London, Rio, LA, Atlanta, and France. 7 Olympics. Every second the people on the street would stop me and say, I see you on Instagram, I saw you on TikTok, I saw you on the news. It was just unbelievable.
Robinson lives in Los Angeles and has been in love with the Olympics since 1984.
In 1984, my mom was a volunteer at the LA Olympics in '84. She used to take the press to meet the athletes and translate in French, and she'd bring me home pins.
Robinson says she's ecstatic the next Summer Olympics are going to be in her home city of Los Angeles. It's less expensive for her, and the weather is pretty much guaranteed to be sunny.
Thank you for watching VOA's Red Carpet. I'm Jackson Bunganyi. For more entertainment news, remember to check us out at voaafrica.com. We are also on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe. Until next time, goodbye everyone.